All right, so Bill, you and I have never met, and I am honored to have you in to talk with me tonight. So I'm just going to kind of like turn it over to you for a few minutes. I'm going to ask questions here and there, but tell me how you got started and all that kind of good thing.
Okay, hi Ed. Uh, I was never a gambler growing up until I got a divorce and came down with multiple sclerosis uh, in 1985. And I sat around the house uh, until I had a heart attack in 1995. And I
Wow.
started to go through cardiac rehab at the hospital 3 times a week. And and I had to that kept me going pretty good. And in 1998, the cardiac rehab had a trip to the Grand Victoria Casino in Elgin. Now I didn't have any money because I was on Social Security disability, and so I just went for the the food, the free food at the buffet. I brought $10 with me, and and after we ate, I went on the boat and I went to the roulette wheel. Well, I don't know how long it takes to lose $5 bets on the roulette wheel, but it went really quick, and that was the end of that. And so I didn't go back to the casino. Then in 1999, a year later, the rehab center had another trip to Grand Victoria Casino. Now I loved the free food I was getting over there, so I went along. But this time I brought $20 with me, and I decided to play the order slot machines, and I won $10. That was great. The first time I won anything, and so I went over to the roulette wheel again, and I won another $10. Oh, I was happy as heck, and so I decided to quit, and I went home, and I was so tired of sitting around my apartment doing nothing. That wasn't good, and so I decided to come back to the casino on my own. And when I came back, uh, back back then, the casinos had a Illinois had a law where the boats had to be on the river before you could gamble. And
Right.
at 8 o'clock in the morning, they had a, a, a breakfast, a free breakfast for the players, and then the boat sailed about a half an hour later. And so I went to the breakfast table, got my fruit and rolls and coffee. That was great. And then I was looking around for a place to sit, and one of the guys called out, "Hey, come on over, sit over by us." And I looked around, and here two guys sitting at this round table. So I went over, and I sat down and introduced myself, and and they they asked me what I played, and I said, "Well, I told them the history about my health, and I didn't have any money, and except uh, that day when I came back, I had $24, and so I told them I was going to play the slot machines, and I found out that they played craps. I didn't know what craps was. I didn't know how to play it or anything, and so uh, we went on the boat, and I went to my slot machine. I kept coming back uh, a few times a week, and every time I came back in the morning, uh, there was Howard and Larry sitting at the table, and they were great guys, and I got to know them real well. And over time, I I hit two jackpots on the slot machine at $250 each. So I had a $500 bankroll,
Ooh.
and now and now uh, uh, Howard says, "Come on, we're going to teach you how to play craps." And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll go with you." So
That ruins
he
you
said,
right there. Now that just ruins you right there. That
"Oh,
was
yeah."
that was where you got ruined right there. Come on, let me show you how to play craps.
So I went to the table with them, and they said, "Stand right next to us, and we'll teach you the game." And that's what I did, and I had a blast. They were two don't players, so I learned the game from the don't side, uh, and I liked it.
Sure.
Uh, I didn't have to play all the numbers. I just put my $5 on the don't, and that was it. And so I had a lot of fun. And uh,
So what was your
then
play on the don't back then on that very first trip? Just a don't pass line only? Or?
just the don't pass. That's all I played. And so I asked one day. I asked Howard while we're standing at the table. I said, "Could you make $5 a day every day?" And he says, "Oh, sure." And so that was my goal. I, I was going to make $5 a day every day. So I won 20 times in a row, 20 days in a row, and I had $100, and so I was happy as heck. And
So is that where a $5 bill comes into play, or am I jumping the gun?
that's how I got the nickname $5 Bill.
Okay.
Doing
All
that.
right.
So uh, sadly, Howard and Larry passed away, uh, and uh, and in 2003, Howard Heavy had a seminar coming to the Chicago area,
Yeah.
and we were going to have it in Aurora at Hollywood Casino. Uh, so uh, we met up at the meet and greet at this outdoor pub, and then we went into Hollywood Casino in Aurora, and there was Heavy and Irish Setter were both there,
Right.
and
Right.
so I was uh, Heavy was at the other table, and I was at uh, the table with Irish, and I was straight out on the right side, and the dice were stick left, and the guy I saw Irish, but there was a guy before him at stick left one, and I couldn't see exactly who it was. All of a sudden, I saw these dice come toward me in perfect sync. They were like glued together, and I said, "Holy mackerel! Who in the heck is that?" And it ended up to be JJ. His name was JJ.
Okay.
I haven't heard from him about him. I don't know what happened to him.
Right.
And next was Irish Setter, and I wanted to watch how he threw, and he was good. He was good, and so uh, I I don't remember if I won or lost that that table. I can't remember. I was just impressed with everybody shooting, and
Yeah.
and I went over to Heavy's table afterwards, and I watched him for a little while, and then the next day we went to have the seminar, and so I learned a lot. I was happy with that.
So you don't know whether you won or lost because you were in the middle of all those stars, as we call them, right? You were,
Oh yeah.
yeah. You got Heavy, you got
Oh
Irish Setter, JJ, all the guys. that were experienced,
Yeah,
and then you're there and you're trying to just soak it in, right?
yeah. I'm trying to learn something how to toss the dice, and
And you wanted to learn how to toss what?
I wanted to learn how to uh, just have a real nice toss
Okay.
from uh, my spot is uh, stick left one. That's my spot nowadays. I like that. I have a hard time shooting from straight out.
Yeah, it's a long way.
It's on the $14 tables, and now I came down with um, the my hands tremble now. Uh, it's forgot the name of it.
Multiple sclerosis cause it, or is it just the?
No, it's I can't remember. My sister has it. It's
Yeah,
inherited.
I
Uh,
know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it either
yeah,
offhand.
yeah. And but after I have a couple, after about two hands, my hands calm down, and I'm fine now. And have a I can have a make a lot of money. And so anyway, so Heavy came back uh, in 2006, and he stayed at not too far from the Grand Victoria Casino in Elgin. He had the, uh, he had the seminar set up over there that time, and we we met up at the meet and greet at another pub right across the street from Grand Victoria, and I got to meet more people, and we went over to the boat and made a little money, and
So all the
then
casinos then were just boats, right?
yeah, that was when they were all on the river, and
I've been there on a few boats, not up there where you are, but down in southern Mississippi and New Orleans and everything. They used to have to run boats too, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, and so we had the seminar the next day on Saturday. It started, and and after the seminar, golfer he was one of the good guys. Uh, he said he had a uh, he had set up a dinner at the Empress in Joliet, or yeah, Joliet, I think it was. And he, so we all went down there, and Heavy said, "You're my driver. Uh, you're going to tell me how to get there." So I get in Heavy's car, and it's just Heavy and me driving for about an hour to get to this casino. That was the best thing I ever had. That was so cool. Just me and Heavy talking, going down the street driving.
Right.
That was fun. And so we got there a little early, and I got this, and Heavy got stick left one, and I took uh, stick left two, and he he just put on a show at the table immediately. He had everybody, all the dealers and everybody, just laughing. It was a ball. It was the best part of the seminar, as far as I was
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah.
So uh, golfer said it was time for dinner, so we went. Uh, we we stopped in the middle of a hot hand, and we went to the real fancy place at at oh, my mind went blank. Uh, the casino. Uh, we were still in uh, the
The
Empress
Empress.
in
Okay.
Joliet,
Yeah. Okay.
and they had a real fancy restaurant, and it was all comped. So we all went there, and I get the menu, and I said, "Holy mackerel! That really costs a lot of money for all this stuff." And so our golfer calls over the waitress, and he says, "What can we get on a comp meal?" And the waitress says, "You can get anything you want, as much as you want."
Ha!
So, so
You
I
like
got,
that?
I
You
got,
like that, didn't you?
oh yeah, and so I got the filet mignon, and I got a
Good
shrimp
man.
cocktail, and a Caesar salad, and I was stuffed. And then she brought over uh, the dessert menu, and I was looking through it, and I saw, uh, uh, what's the name of it? It was baked Alaska.
Oh my goodness, baked Alaska. That's great stuff.
Yeah. And when I got it, it was as big as a basketball. I
Oh.
couldn't believe it. Oh, that was so good. Uh, I only got to eat half of it. I couldn't eat anymore.
Right.
And so anyway, that was the seminar in in 2006 that we had uh, in Elgin, Illinois.
So you took two seminars, right?
Yeah, the
At,
the
at,
first one in Joliet, I made enough at the tables to pay for the seminar.
there you
So
go. There you go.
uh, that was great.
Yeah.
Uh, see,
Uh, So after that, you kind of were starting to learn how to toss the dice a little bit, I guess.
yeah, I was. Uh, they had us uh, in 2006, uh, in 2003 at the Joliet seminar. Uh, they had a, a seven, who could throw the most sevens,
Right.
and I tied with another guy, but he broke my tie, and so what can I say? I was
Well,
still happy.
seven is your number of choice, correct?
Oh yeah, when I want to, I when I want to set a point, I use like the 3V set and this the set with the less sevens on it. I want to set any number up there,
Yeah.
and then I go to the straight sixes with the sevens all around, and I try to hit try to seven out as soon as
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
So
Because you're looking for that pass line win, that $5 bill, as you call it.
yeah, so I was on Heavy's Access Powers forum, and I
Yeah.
was talking about how much was up in the month of August in 2012, I think it was, and and golfer said I was I was up $295 halfway through the month, and he says, "Bill, if you keep on going, you like you've been doing, you can uh, five hundred and something dollars for the month, and that comes out to $7,000 a year." He said, "What would you do with $7,000, Bill?" And I said, "Well, I would love to go to Las Vegas, see the share show,
Yeah.
and and so Heavy writes back on the forum. He says, "I don't want to embarrass you, Bill, but I would be glad to comp you uh, to uh, the seminar in Las Vegas, and we can see if we can get you some uh, air air tra- air air travel and copy some rooms and set up a pay pay forward $5 bill. And so that's what Heavy did. Heavy's the greatest when it comes to things like that. I was so happy. And uh, Anomalous uh, wrote back and said he would pick me up from the airport and drive me around, make sure I got where I wanted to go. In the meantime, uh, Anomalous uh, said, "Why don't we all get together in Chicago at the Grand Victoria Casino and see if we can win enough money to get $5 bill to Las Vegas?"
Wow.
So I could, because I didn't have any money. Uh, so that's what we met up uh, at the Grand Victoria. Uh, there was about five of us, and Anomalous uh, backed me. He gave me enough money to play with, and he called. I said, "What do you want me to? How do you want me to play this?" And he told. This was about five. We were in the coffee shop, and uh, I only had 5 minutes to find out how he wanted me to play. So I said, he said, "Well, just stand next to me. I'll tell you what to do." And he said, uh, so he said, he gave me all the chips, bought it, and he said, "Now put 300 across and for 2 hits, and then take it, regress it down to 52 or 50, 54
56
inside."
across or something? Or something? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I took 2 hits at the $300 level and then regressed it down to 50 something dollars inside. And
56. That'd be 56 inside. Yep.
yeah, and then every other hit I would press uh, whatever hit I would press it up, and everybody was oh, they were shooting so good. Uh, I never caught a seven when I had the 300 out, but of course the seven finally came on the when I regressed.
Yeah. But you had money
And
and you had money back in the rack at that point. You're good.
yeah, I had so many chips, I didn't know where to put them. And uh, his name was Colby, and he was uh, at stick left one right next to me. And he says, "Bill, just put them over here." And so I'm counting up my money. It's the chips are coming in faster than I can imagine, and I have to know how much I'm ahead. That's the way I am, and so I was counting my chips, and I was up 500 something dollars, and the money was still coming in,
Yeah.
and when it got to 700 and what was it, 750 I think it was, I a little voice went off in my head, and I turned to Anomalous and I said, "I'm going to quit. Lose, lose." You know, I hadn't lost. And I could have got the table was so hot. I could have got went to 1,000, but I just had this feeling I didn't want to lose when I had the 300 uh, across.
Oh no. Yeah, I got you. You did a smart thing.
Yeah, that's what was going through my mind.
Yeah.
And so I took uh, the 700 bucks and cashed in. And golfer said, "Why don't you come back to the table and uh, play your don't, play the don't." I had $100 in my wallet, so I played with that. And golfer says, "We we we will make sure that you don't play with the money you just won for your Vegas trip.
Right.
So yeah, so we put that away, and I played with $100, and Anomalous told me I was playing the dope, but Anomalous told me uh, to bet on these numbers that kept I kept tossing, and so I made another $50 doing that. So I walked away with this at the casino with $800, and that was awesome. Then we decided to quit, and we all went out on the patio that they have at the Grand Victoria, and we all sat around and we all, you know, just talked about the game and what was going to happen, and I was happy that I was going to Vegas. That was fun.
The friendships you make from people all over the country in this game has always astounded me. I mean, I've got friends from coast to coast that I truly love and would play with anytime and do anything I could to help. So I know the friendships just last. I mean, they're incredible.
Oh, that's the reason. That's half the reason that I go to the casino is to be with all the guys, and I'm not sitting alone right away in in this apartment all by myself. So
I'm glad you're able to get out now. So you made it to Vegas then, right?
yeah, uh, somebody chipped uh, anonymous. Somebody gave me the airfare, and they wanted to be anonymous, so I can't tell you who gave me the airfare. But
Well,
everybody chipped in some. And
I
go ahead.
know who got the airfare for you.
He told me not to tell anybody, so I'm not going to say
I'm
anything.
not going to say anything either, but I've already interviewed him and it's on videotape, so you'll have to watch.
All right. And, and so when I got on the plane and I got there, and Anomalous was already there. He picked me up at the airport, and he drove me all around to the casinos. And I ended up, somebody comped me into Binion's downtown,
Right.
and that was fun
I was
because
probably that was probably back when Binion's was a real popular place. Did they still have the stack of $1 million out front?
I don't remember the $1 million. Maybe
Okay.
I did, maybe I didn't. I can't remember. Uh, but uh, anyway, I stayed there, and I was only getting 4 hours of sleep. I was getting tired, so I hit the rack early, and and all of a sudden, uh, all this music and came on. It was just, it was, it was what do you call it? On the ceiling, all that music.
Oh yeah,
It,
yeah. The Fremont experience or whatever
pretty
they
much
call
experience, yeah, and it kept me awake. So the next morning, I went down and I told the clerk about it, the desk clerk, and he put me on the back side of the casino and overlooking the valley, over the mountains in the valley,
it. That's better.
and it was quiet, and I got some sleep. And yeah. So I had an I had a meetup with uh, Irish and Mad Dog the next morning at 6 o'clock at the coffee shop across the across the street. Uh, and my alarm didn't go off,
Uh oh.
and Irish calls me up and says, "Where are you?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, my alarm didn't go off. I'll be down in 10 minutes." So I met him down there, and we strolled down the. We we were going to meet up with the rest of the group. They were going to drive me over there, but uh, we took a walk down um, the street and played at one of the casinos. Like I don't remember which one, and then we went on to meet the group. And when we got there, Heavy wasn't there, and when he finally came in, he said he had overslept. So I didn't feel bad that I overslept.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah. And what else? Uh, then we went to uh, the seminar at the Craps where they have held the seminar,
Yeah.
and that was fun. And then I had a craps, a 2-on-2 uh, craps lesson. It was Anomalous and me, and an Irish setter and Mad Dog were teaching us how to throw the dice.
Right.
And I knew what Irish looked like, but Mad Dog, it sounded like I never saw him before. And I imagined in my head that he had rings on his ears and a ring in his nose, and but
Yeah.
he's not like that at all. He's one of the greatest guys I know. And so we had they taught us how to toss the dice, and that was a lot of fun. And so that I'm trying to think of what else I did there. Uh, oh, we stopped at the last day. We stopped at the Venetian,
Okay.
and that was good. That was beautiful.
Wow.
And I saw the canals, and we played a little bit. I have one. I had a picture on my screen on my computer, of a picture of a certain table in the Venetian, and I said when I get to Vegas, I'm going to find that table. I'll play on it. It was a 12-foot table,
Yeah.
and so I went up to it and don't play it. I mean, if it's still there, don't play it. It's the bouncy. It's, it's the bounciest table in the whole anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I lost $100 there. And so went down to a 14 footer, and I won all my money back and came out $10 ahead. So that was fine.
Yep. You,
And
you were ahead.
yeah, then we went next door. It's all one because the Venetian and the Palazzo, is it?
I'm not sure. I don't go to Vegas a lot, so and I don't.
Palazzo was connected to the Venetian, and we walked over there. Oh, that was beautiful, and they had the best table I ever played on. It was so beautiful. It was just me and Anomalous on this table, and we had a ball. And then we went to the airport, and he drove me to the airport, and I came back home. I had a
So
beautiful trip.
you didn't get to see Cher?
No,
Ah.
Cher had left just about a week before I was to get there.
Okay.
Now, I did I did go see the Cher show in Des Moines, Iowa. That's where my daughter lives.
Okay.
She was having a concert there. I think it was in 2014, something like that. And I bought the tickets, and I brought my daughter with me, and we did see the Cher show. So that was fun.
All right. So
And
by now you're becoming a pretty good shooter, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah. See, uh, I met him. I was at the table at the Grand Victoria Casino by my house, and I was just standing there playing, and this guy came up behind me and says, "You're $5 bill, aren't you?" And I don't know how he found that out, because I keep my mouth shut when I'm at the table. And I turned around, I said, "Sure," and he introduced himself as Americrafts, and he lived 20 minutes from where I live in my apartment, and he told me he had a craps table in his house. Oh well, that was awesome. And so we just he asked me if I wanted to come over and practice. So every week I would come over and practice. We both would practice on his table. And at the time, Grand Victoria had uh, the craps stash promotion. That's that's just like the fire bet, only it's a free bet just for the shooter. Uh, and if you win, it was $4,000. If you make all 6 points, free
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
And so we practiced on Americraft's table, and he had his he had his laptop sitting on the craft table with the bone tracker on it, and we would uh, keep track of our rolls and what dice set to use for certain numbers. And so one night he went over there by himself, uh, and he brought he had a a tape recorder in his top pocket, and the reason for that was he would keep track of his rolls. Like if he rolled a a seven, a 3, 4, he would just say 3, 4 to his tape recorder,
That's
and then he'd go
interesting.
back home.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never thought about that. Yeah.
yeah. And then he'd go back to his house and put it into computer into Bone Tracker to keep track of his what he was the casino. Anyway, when he was doing that, he hit the craps for cash and won $4,000, and it was all recorded on his tape recorder. It was he he, uh, he, he let me listen to him run around the casino screaming. It was so funny. I
So
I think he'll has that
I hope he
recorded.
does. I'd love to have a copy. If he's out there
Yeah, I'm
listening,
sure
I'd
of
love to
that.
have a copy. I can I can put it on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, that would be fun, and I'd like to listen to that myself. And then I don't know how long it was before it was in 2017. Uh, we were still practicing on Americraft's table, and in 2017, I won the craps for cash 4 times that year. But
Wow.
in the since Americrafts won the $4,000, they had reduced the prize money to $2,500 if you made all 6 points. But I made
Wow.
all 6 points
You
four
did you
times
did the 6 points 4 times in a year?
in a year. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I came out ahead $10,000 at the end of the year, and I I went out and I bought a brand new 2020 no 2017 Chevy Malibu,
Wow.
uh, and then Americraft asked me. He said I still had money left over, and Americraft says, "You want to go to Canada to Caesar's Windsor?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go there." So we took a trip and went there and had a lot of fun. I'd never been to Canada before.
I haven't
And we
either.
met a couple. We met a couple of guys at the forum. They met us there, and we played one end. Uh, I lost. I think I lost $900. I brought 4,700, and I lost 900.
Yeah, but you still had a car.
I mean, oh yeah, I was at one table. And I almost went to another table, and I was alone at my table, and I wasn't keeping track, but all of a sudden the boxman said, "You just made all the numbers," and I didn't have a bet on the fire bet. Ah,
Man,
that that was bad. And oh, and then with my with my money that I had won on the craps for cash, I bought a brand new Nikon camera,
okay.
and I'm into photography, crafts and photography. I just love, and I have fun uh, making stuff on Photoshop. And I think you saw a couple pictures,
I have.
and yeah, and so
So you
that's
got a
all.
T-shirt. Did you? Is that your design on your T-shirt?
Yes, I'm setting the dice on a table. That's me. Those great big dice thing. Um, I'm setting the dice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think
So,
we could sell some of
oh
those. I
well.
think we could sell a bunch of your designs, Bill.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
I know.
Uh,
That's why I'm thinking about it. You got my mind turning already.
uh,
How to sell how to sell some $5
that's
bill T-shirts.
uh, I do videos. Uh, what else? I do business cards. I've done design business cards. Uh, I don't know if I should say who I did it for, but I'll just
No,
leave it
that's
at
fine.
that.
Yeah, I'm sure that
And
I'm sure that they teach craps somewhere.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's about all the things that I have up. I have note cards on my screen, so I know what I was going to talk about. But
Well,
anyway,
I know you still go. You still go pretty regularly, don't you?
yeah, I go to uh, I still go to uh, my cardiac rehab class 3 times a week. So I do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I don't go to the casino then. But I'll do it. I go on Saturday or Sunday or both, and then I go Tuesday and Thursday, either two.
So you go more or less 4 days a week then.
Oh yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't realize you went that much.
yeah. I don't want to sit around in this stupid apartment
I
all by
don't blame you.
myself.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
But
I'd like to
you're
move
still
down.
shoot you're always now, I guess, still shooting from the don't side, correct?
Oh yeah, I should just shoot from the dome. Sometimes I get on these goofy long rolls, and then I don't switch over to the right side, and I got to learn to switch over.
It's a hard thing to get something new in your mind to do, isn't it?
Yeah, once you get used to doing the don't, I hate to. I just like my little bet down there on the don't path. Uh, I don't like to put all that money up there on the numbers. I'm
Right.
afraid I'm going to lose my bankroll too fast.
Yeah.
I use the I use the envelope system. Uh,
Okay.
Heavy taught me to do that. Uh, so I got my money and I put $300 in envelopes, and I leave the rest here, and I take $300 in an envelope, and that's what I buy in for at the craps table, and it keeps me from losing everything.
All right, so that's a very smart thing to do. And I'm impressed that you still do it because I still use the envelope system, for a trip myself. But as long as you've been doing it, I'm impressed that you're still doing it. So you said you go off on some goofy rolls. I've read some of your writings where next thing you know, you've already hit the all tall and small, and you're still you're.
Yeah, I, at Rivers Casino and Des Plaines, they have the all tall small, and every time I go there, I either hit uh, the all or the tall. A couple times I've done the all. This one time I was uh, at the table at stick left one, and right uh, and right next on the other side of the stick man was this other guy, and he was betting big, and another guy had straight out. They both betting big, and I made the uh, all tall small, and then I made the tall again,
Hmm.
and,
Wow.
and the guy had straight out. He cashed out for $14,000. The guy at stick right won. He had more. He had a lot more money than that, and he just kind of playing. And I left. I had my winnings, and I wanted to get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart man. Smart man. You've learned from experience, right?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and play the all tall small and start betting that because I'm always doing that.
Hey, do since your $5 bill, go 2-1-2 if they'll let you. What the heck? You're gonna be throwing anyway. You might as well hit one side. If you hit one side at $2, well, it's $60.
Well, at Rivers, they're $5. It's 555.
Okay, that's the minimum.
Yeah, and I buy in for $300, uh, and I bet my bet is $15. Uh, I bet 20 times. My bankroll is 20 times whatever my bet is. So
Okay,
15 times 20 is $300.
right. I
And
got you.
that's how I play.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many times do you normally get to toss the dice when you go?
Uh, if you go in the morning at Grand Victoria, it's not so crowded, but they don't open now until 10:30. They used to open at 8:30. And Rivers Casino, I haven't been in there in the morning for a long time. I usually sleep in, and then I go in the afternoon and play there. And the tables aren't so bad on the weekdays. It's the weekends that are bad. At the Grand Victoria, they only have one table going, and at the Rivers Casino, they have six tables. So
Okay.
uh,
I probably know some guys who've played there with you and they don't know you and you didn't know them. I
I'm
know
sure
I know some
there's
guys
a
up that
couple.
way that play on those casinos. I hear them talk about it.
Yeah, I I can't remember their names, but I know they are. There's some that play at Rivers.
Okay. I'll find out. I'll find out. And once they see this, they'll be on the lookout for you, I'm sure. You're going to be famous now, $5 bill.
Uh, the best thing I ever did was play craps.
Yeah,
It keeps me alive and something to do.
yeah. So, so I was like, I was just trying to think, if you got 20 times your buy-in, you got $300. You need to scrape up another, you know, 85 bucks or so just so you can play that all tall small only when you shoot.
Yeah, it's. I was thinking that, and I might do that since I'm always either making the all or the tall, and or the small.
Yeah.
So
Just, you know, I think if you can scrape it up, save it up, and build it into that bankroll, you probably would come out all right at the end of a month going 5 days a week. But you've got to have that extra money allotted just for when you're shooting to play that all tall small.
yeah, uh, I think I might try that.
Well, don't do it because I said it. I don't want to cost you any money, but
No, no, no.
I think
I thought about
I
it,
think
and
if I
I
could
did.
shoot as good as you, I'd probably try it.
Well, I I used to get the the twos and the 12s and the 11s. I used to uh, the straight sixes set,
Yeah,
and I have the sevens on there, and it's always landing. I'll double pitch it, and it'll land on a 12 or I'll land on a two, and that's how I get those lower numbers and higher numbers, and then I can reset it to get the six and the eight
yeah.
and the rest of them. So,
Well, do you still get to practice it with Americraps at all?
no, oh, that's terrible. Uh, he used to work at home all that time, and so uh, we always have practice. And in fact, he would once a week he would invite other uh, players over as well as me, and we
Yeah,
all practiced together, and that was fun. And so then he got a job driving trucks. So that was the end of the practice. He was on the road all the time. Now he's selling. He's into the stock market, and he has to go downtown
right.
and you know he calls me every once in a while, on the holidays,
Yeah.
asks me to come over for dinner. But the practice, I wish we could start up again. That was fun.
Yeah, that help you practice for that all tall small a little bit. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
The So let me ask you a little bit more before we quit. We've almost been on an hour, man. Um,
Really?
yeah, 55 minutes. I'm looking at my timer over there, so we're doing okay. Um, are you're from the Illinois area all your life or what?
Yeah, I was born in Chicago, Illinois. Uh, my parents uh, lived there, lived here all their life. They're gone, of course. But my sister is down, lives. She used to live here, and after her husband died, she moved down to uh, Hollywood, Florida. That's right next to Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard rock and roll. They have a thing. They were going to have craps at all the casinos, and then they had this uh, uh, thing with the Indians, and then they shut down. They couldn't. They even had tables in the casino, but all of a
Yeah.
sudden this lawsuit or what it is. Uh, They so they didn't open up the craps table. But I was reading online where Rock and Roller said uh, they think it's going to be cleared up and they'll be having uh, craps in Florida now. So I
Yeah, it
would like,
should be probably around mid or late August, I would think. But I would almost bet you that those table minimums are going to be really high when they first start that down there.
I was playing. I'm used to playing $15 tables. Uh, I was
Yeah,
playing 25, but I got. I don't like to bet that high if I don't have to. I,
right.
the $10 is cool because you can bet $15 on the don't pass, and if you win that, you can reduce it down to $10. Win
Yeah,
that, go back up 15. Play
yeah,
it that way.
yeah. That's a good idea. I hope all the viewers that are watching this are taking notes. They need to be.
Yeah,
All right, so you grew up all your life in the Chicago area. Now, you were also in the military, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
yeah. I worked on the USS Constellation. That was an aircraft carrier,
Right.
and I got the coolest job you ever want. At least that's the way I feel about it. I got to work on the flight deck, launching planes off the flight deck,
That would be
and
cool. That would be cool.
that was that's one of the 10 most dangerous jobs there is. And I would hook. I would. My job was to take these heavy cables and hook them up to the catapult, and then hook them up to the plane. And each cable weighs between 75 and 200 pounds. And I did that for 2 years. And my back went out one time, and they took me down below, and I had to stay down below for 2 months. And, and all I did was
Ha,
make coffee
ha.
for the guys. And I was getting sick of that. I wanted to go back up on the
Yeah.
flight deck. So I begged the officer if I could go up there. I said, I love my job. And my back was better by then. And so I talked him into it, and I got to go back on the flight deck and work on the hooking up planes on the catapult. And then 2 months before I was to be discharged, we were on our second cruise to Vietnam, and we were right out of Hawaii. And I was they launched an A4 jet. We launched it, and the cables got tangled up as they were coming back. So I'm down on my hands and knees to untangle the cable. And in the meantime, the director who's directing the plane, he didn't see me, or I don't know what his problem was, but he directed another A4 forward onto the catapult, and I had my eyes on the cable trying to untangle them, and he directed the plane forward, and I felt a tug on my pant leg, and I looked, and the tire of the plane caught my pant leg and ran over my left leg, and crushed it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that I thought I had lost my leg because I was laying there, and I said to one guy, I said, is my leg still there?" And he says, "Yeah, Bill, it's still there." I didn't believe him at the time, and then they took me down. They take right away as soon as the medics were on the scene immediately, and they uh, gave me a shot of morphine, and that helped with the pain. And
Yeah.
then they went down. I went down to the hospital down down below. They gave me uh, a shot in the back, and it deadened me from the waist down. And so when I got out of the service, uh, Illinois was giving out, I think it was $100 for veterans getting out of the service. And the guy asked me, did you get any scars or injuries? I said, yeah, a plane ran over my leg. So
That's not something everybody can just say. Hey, yeah, I got injured. A plane ran over my leg. I mean, nobody can say that except $5 bill. I don't think.
so he sent me to the VA hospital and to get examined, and they gave me 10% disability for that. So uh, th- that's not much. And then later on, I was having trouble with my hearing. Well, I had trouble right away. Uh, I lost a lot of my hearing from the jet noise. They had, at the time I was up there, they had the ears, and that helped keep the jet engine noise sound out of my ears. But one time, uh, a, a commander said we want you to wear helmets. So they gave us pilot helmets to wear
Hmm.
uh, to protect our heads, but it didn't keep the jet noise out. So we got up there, and it was so painful, and that's how I lost a lot of my hearing. Just that one trip up on the flight deck with the pilot helmets. So I got another 10% disability for that, and they
That's
gave
not
me
enough. That's not enough, Bill.
no, and then they gave me uh, free hearing aids, so I get them every 5 years. And then they came up with Agent Orange in Vietnam. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah. Well, uh, I wasn't qualified because at the time because you had to be on land. Now, I think it was in 2001 or uh, they came up with a new rule where you could be qualified if you were uh, 12 miles off the coast of Vietnam on a ship, and you could prove it. And so I heard from this guy on Facebook. He was on the Constellation, same time I was, uh, same place, and he got 100% disability. So I applied for the disability, and he went through an attorney, and so he had all the maps where the ship was at the time within the 12-mile limit. He gave me a list. He gave me a picture of the ship's logs that proved that the ship was within 12 miles. And that's what I'm fighting now.
You're still having to
And
fight it.
yeah, I applied for uh, I applied for it in 2022 January, and they gave me uh, uh, 20% more for back injuries for when I was hooking up the plane. They gave me, so I'm getting percent right
You need
now.
to be at 100%.
Uh,
I hope somebody somewhere will help you out up there. If
well,
anybody out there is watching this and you can help $5 bill out with this claim to the VA department and get him fully disabled, contact me and I'll put you in touch with $5 bill because we need to get this rectified. That just I can't help but tell you that pisses me off that you can't get full disability.
read that if you had a heart attack and and bypass surgery, that you're automatically get 100% disability. So that's what I'm hoping for. Uh, my I had to appeal. I had to appeal it, and my appeal is still open. So I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen. I hope I get it.
I hope you do too,
And
Bill. You deserve it. I'm
Then I'm
gonna
going
I'm
to
gonna
go
say
ahead.
this. I wanna personally thank you. I grew up as a young child watching the Vietnam War. I've had good friends in my life that fought in that war, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your call to duty and your service to this country. I really, I do. I want you to, my eyes. I'm telling you, thank you, Bill. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Ed. I really appreciate that.
And you know, it's
Uh,
this. I could boy. I'm fixing to get mad because they need to be working for veterans and helping people like yourself out. And that just aggravates. You know, you need to get your congressmen involved, senators involved. I've got a son that's been in active duty. He's in the Army Guard, and he's been on 2 tours of duty. Spent 12 months in Afghanistan, and I
wow,
I had to write a congressman just to get him his dadgum sign-on bonus. I mean,
wow.
yeah, I mean he was already on his way to Afghanistan, and he ain't even got his bonus yet for signing on. So he'd been in service 6, 7 months. No, it was longer than that, 9 months. He didn't even have his bonus yet. And I said, "We'll get you your bonus. You just watch." So we ended up writing a congressman and getting it done. I don't know if anybody out there knows somebody to help Bill out. Let me know. We'll try to get you some help, Bill. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I hope this gets done. And then I'm going to move down to Florida with my sister. If I get the 100%, I'll
Yeah.
move down to Florida with my sister, and hopefully the craps tables will be open at the Hard Rock, and I could get to play down there. And that'll be fun. And then it won't. Then I won't be alone. I'll have my sister, and I got a cousin down there, and so that would be fun if
That would be
everything
great.
worked
That would
out.
be great.
Yeah.
Well, before we close out, I know I got off on my little. I know I got aggravated. I apologize, but
Oh no, not at all.
I, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we sign off?
I'm trying to think real quick. Uh, no, off the top of my head, I can't.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are, Bill? You don't have to answer.
78. I'll be
78.
78 this August 5th.
Well, happy birthday coming up, because this probably won't go on to YouTube until after your birthday. Cause it might even be September before this gets out there. So, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you, Ed, very much. It was fun. This went so fast. I was so nervous about doing this, and uh, we started talking, and it just time just flew by, and
We
so
we've
this
been
has been
on we've
fun.
been on we've been on an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow, it doesn't seem like it.
No, it
It's
does.
been fun.
It never does.